Hari Om Pranam. गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवी सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। Just give me 2 seconds, I will share the screen. ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः भक्तियोगः। I am reading from the verse 7. तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थं मय्यावेशितचेतसाम् मय्येव मन आधस्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः। अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो मां चाप्तुं धनञ्जय। अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थकर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि। अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मध्यमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यथात्मवान्। श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाद् विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम्। Om Tat Sat. So yesterday we were seeing about the asana, pranayama, pratyahara and dharana along with yama and niyama. I will just repeat the last paragraph which we saw yesterday and then we will proceed to the next verse. Meanwhile, if you feel my voice is breaking, just let me know. Sumaji can take over. Asana means any one of the postures in which you can sit and meditate. The capacity to sit for a length of time, asana siddhi, can be acquired through practice. Pranayama is a discipline with reference to breathing. You deliberately inhale and exhale in given proportions and retain the inhalation or refrain from it for given lengths of time. Pratyahara is withdrawing the mind from the external world of objects, and it does not automatically happen unless one has consciously cultivated the discipline of absence of greed. We should know how to avoid grabbing and also how to get rid of useless things. First, we have to clean the junk out of our own room. This we find difficult because we always think it is going to be useful sometime. It has been there for 10 years and has been of no use whatever, but still you cannot get rid of it. The practice of pratyahara starts here. Similarly, one should have a mind that is relatively free of conflicts. Only then pratyahara can take place. Dharana is the practice of concentration. This has to begin with things you love. If you concentrate on what you like to dwell upon, you will find it is not difficult. All these steps called Abhyasa Yoga lead to Dhyana, meditation. You follow these disciplines to help you gain the capacity to meditate, and you also meditate and study the Shastra. Being a participant in the creation, naturally, you find yourself in situations which warrant certain actions. The action called for is duty, being in conformity with the moral order, dharma. Looking upon this dharma as a form of Ishvara is karma yoga. Shankara gives us the definition of Abhyasa Yoga. Again and again, bringing the mind back from everything else to one object of meditation. Why does he say again and again, punaha punaha? Because the mind will stray. The definition of meditation is repeatedly bringing the mind to the object of meditation. We cannot complain that the mind wanders in meditation, because that is what makes it meditation, dhyana. If the mind remains absorbed, it is called samadhi. In meditation, the mind will wander, and whenever it does, you bring it back to the chosen object. If it drifts away again, bring it back again. This is abhyasa. Asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and dharana can be considered constituents of dhyana. Therefore, Krishna says, seek to reach me through the practice of yoga, Arjuna. Tataha abhyasa yogena mamaptum ichha. Mamaptum ichha. So very beautifully, Swamiji has explained the importance of asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and dharana. And Bhagavan is so compassionate. He says that mana is chanchala. It is okay. So bringing the mind again and again back to the object of meditation. And as it is said in the previous chapter, shanai shanai. And that will happen only with the abhyasa, with the practice that will happen. If you want me to repeat Any paragraph, do let me know. Then the Lord says, Abhyaseऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि. Abhyase api. Even for the practice of this yoga, asamarthah asi chet, if you do not have the capacity, mat karma paramaha, one for whom action dedicated to me is paramount. Bhava, may you become, api, even, karmani kurvan, doing actions, madartham, for my sake, siddhim, success, avapsyasi, you will gain. Abhyase api asamarthah asi chet matkarma paramah bhava. Api karmani kurvan madartham siddhim avapsyasi. Even if you do not have the capacity for the practice of this yoga, may you become one for whom action dedicated to me is paramount. Even doing actions for my sake, you will gain success. Suppose even this is not possible, to sit and do anything is almost impossible. Then set aside this meditation on Saguna Brahma and do your daily prayers and duties, dedicating them to me. Dedication is nothing but conformity with Dharma, looking upon it as Ishvara. Later in the 18th chapter, he tells us, Yatah pravrittihi bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarya siddhim vidati manavaha. I will just try to read once again from the textbook, as I may have committed some mistake in the uchar pronunciation. Kindly forgive me. 46. यतः प्रवृत्तिभूतानां येन सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा तमभ्यर्च्य सिद्धिं दति मावः. Tam abhyarcha, worship that Lord, yatah pravrihi bhutana, from whom all elements and beings have come. Yena sarvam idam tatam, by whom all this is sustained. Swakarmana, by his own duty. Siddhim vindati manavaha, a man finds success. The entire creation, Jagat, is non-separate from Ishvara. With an awareness of this, Swakarmana, Abhyarcha, worshipping with one's own karma, meaning doing what is called for at any given time and in any particular situation. A particular act of worship is not what is meant here, but the awareness of Ishvara as dharma and conformity to that. By this he says, Siddhim Vindati Manavaha. A person gains success. Success here is Antahkarana Shuddhi. A prepared mind though. Kshamyatam, a prepared mind through which one can gain knowledge. The real success is moksha. I repeat once again. Tam abhyarcha, worshipping that Lord, Yatah pravrittihi bhutana, from whom all elements and beings have come, yena sarvam idam tatam, by whom all this is sustained, swakarmana, by his own duty, siddhim vindati manavaha, a man finds success. The entire creation, Jagat, is non-separate from Ishvara. With an awareness of this, Swakarmana Abhyarcha, worshipping with one's own karma, meaning doing what is called for at any given time and in any particular situation. A particular act of worship is not what is meant here, but the awareness of Ishvara as dharma and conformity to that. By this he says, Siddhim Vindati Manavaha. A person gains success. Success here is Antahkarana Shuddhi, a prepared mind through which one can gain knowledge. The real success is moksha. So Bhagwan is so compassionate. He is saying, if you can't do yoga, Ashtanga yoga, it is okay. You can just worship me by offering me all your karmas, all whatever you do, action. So with Prasada Buddhi, we accept and we do without any Kartritva Bhavana. And Ishwar as Dharma, with the awareness of Ishvara as Dharma. Therefore, if you cannot meditate, do not condemn yourself. As long as you continue doing what you are doing as a karma yogi, that is enough. You will gain everything. If it is not possible to look upon dharma as Ishvara, in the following verse, the Lord offers another alternative. Perform all your actions, fulfilling your likes and dislikes in conformity with dharma. When the result comes, offer it to me and then take it. This is common practice in India. Even though people may not know what is behind it, they do it. After cooking food, they first offer it to the Lord and then eat. If they build a house, they first offer it to Him and then enter it. Anything new is offered to the Lord. A newborn child is offered to the Lord and therefore becomes prasada. What comes from the Lord? This is something anybody can do. These alternatives are not really very different from one another. The emphasis is just shifted. One thing is clear though, if a person lives a life of karma yoga along with meditation upon Ishvara as Saguna Brahma, he is Yoga Vittama, the best in the sense of nearest to moksha. Tataha mam aptum ichha. May you desire to meditate upon me. Aptum means to gain, but in the context, it should be taken as dhyatu, to meditate. Finally, it is a gain. So, translating aptum as to gain is also correct. By meditation and gaining knowledge, may you desire to gain me. If you are not capable of even this practice, kindly let me know. There is an unstable network. I will just repeat once again. Tataha mam aptum ichha. May you desire to meditate upon me. Aptum means to gain. But in the context, it should be taken as dhyatum, to meditate. Finally, it is gain. So translating aptum as to gain is also correct. by meditation and gaining knowledge, may you desire to gain me. If you are not capable of even this practice, abhyase api asamarthaha asi, you can live a life of karma yoga. That is good enough. May you become one for whom karma done for me is the ultimate. Mat karma paramo bhava. Mat karma paramo bhava. It is the ultimate in the
karma paramo bhava.
Mat karma paramo bhava. Kshamyatam. Mat karma paramo bhava. It is the ultimate in the sense that it is the means that he commits himself to for the antakarana shuddhi required for jnana. What does it mean to perform action for the sake of Ishvara? What does it mean to perform action for the sake of Ishvara? Does Ishvara need your karma like a master needs services of his servant? The master gives the orders, telling exactly what has to be done, and the servant obliges in return for some payment. Both stand to gain from the transaction. Does the Lord also tell you to do specific things whereby he is going to accomplish something? Does he expect to benefit from your activity? If so, he is not Ishvara. Doing something for the sake of Ishvara cannot be for his benefit because Bhagwan, by definition, is Purna, complete. He has all that one could wish for in absolute measure. So, it is not for his sake. Suppose you do it for your sake, then it is not karma yoga. You become a karmatha. Doing karma for Ishvara's...
Could you please read the last sentence?
Yeah, sure. Doing something for the sake of Ishvara cannot be for his benefit because Bhagwan by definition is Purna, complete. Here, please try to recall the definition of Bhagwan. Those Shad Bhaga, complete Aishwarya, complete. He has all those things which make him complete. So, by definition, is Purna, complete. He has all that one could wish for in absolute manner, in absolute measure, sorry. So it is not for his sake. Suppose you do it for your sake, then it is not karma yoga, you become a karmatha. Yeah,
What is karmatha?
The one who does for his own sake. I think Brahmaraji can.
No, the one who is into a lot of karma kanda, karmatha. Is only into the Vedas have two sections, no? The karma kanda and the jnana kanda. Karmatha is the one who's all involved only in the karma kanda part. Vela, can you just repeat that whole paragraph once?
Yeah. What does it mean to perform action for the sake of Ishvara? What does it mean to perform action for the sake of Ishvara? Does Ishvara need your karma like a master needs the services of his servant? The master gives the orders, telling exactly what has to be done, and the servant obliges in return for some payment. Stand to gain from the transaction. Does the Lord also tell you to do specific things whereby he is going to accomplish something? Does he expect to benefit from your activity? If so, he is not Ishvara. Doing something for the sake of Ishvara cannot be for his benefit, because Bhagwan by definition is Purna, complete. He has all that one could wish for in absolute measure. So it is not for his sake. Suppose you do it for your sake, then it is not Karma Yoga. You become a Karmatha. So I think here, as a doer,
Karmata, he does it only for his kamya karma. That is for his own sake, for his own benefit. He's not doing it for the sake of Ishvara.
yeah, and with
Like all
Kartritva
the
Bhavana.
yagas, yajnas, yeah, all those. He's doing it for a desired action, desired result.
And also without the jnana, that you are the instrument for that action to happen. Because earlier he said, offer everything, all your action to me. So if you go by that, if you do action without that awareness, then also you become a karmata. Then you're doing an action out of, still there is some ignorance.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, there was one very profound statement yesterday. You are a participant in the creation, right? That was such a wonderful. So when that knowledge is there, that you are just an instrument. Wonderful. Shall I go ahead? Doing karma for Ishvara's sake is doing it as an expression of your devotion to him. This is Ishvarartham karma. Further, Ishvara is in the form of dharma. Sanatana dharma is a name for the Vedic tradition. This dharma, which is unfolded by the Vedas, is eternal. Sanatana. Sanatanasya asau dharmaha. I hope I am right in my pronunciation. Sanatanasya asau dharmaha. Here we view Ishvara as the Upadana Karana, recognizing that the very order in the world is Ishvara. Or can say it is the dharma of the one who is eternal. Sanatanasya dharma. In this, Ishvara becomes the Nimitta Karana. Conformity to his order is Ishvararpita karma. Either you think I perform this action for the sake of Ishvara or in conformity to Dharma, or in conforming to Dharma, I am worshipping Ishvara. Both are similar. I repeat, very important line. Either you think I perform this action for the sake of Ishvara, or in conforming to Dharma, I am worshipping Ishvara. Both are similar. Thirdly, you can cultivate a certain attitude which comes from recognizing this karma is done by Ishvara, not by me. In that, you deflate your ahankara and attribute the very karma to Ishvara. That is also Madartham karma. Madartham karma.
Madartham karma.
Madartham, Kshamyatam, Madartham karma. I read once again. Thirdly, you can cultivate a certain attitude which comes from recognizing this karma is done by Ishvara, not by me. In that, you deflate your ahankara and attribute the very karma to Ishvara. That is also Madartham karma. Through his vibhuti alone, my legs are able to move, my tongue is able to talk, this mind is able to think. It is all Ishvara. My body, senses, and mind are all instruments for Ishvara to play his symphony of life. One who appreciates this is also Mat Karmarpan Parama. Mat Karmarpan Parama. Mat Karma Parama. Mat Karma Parama. I hope I am correct. I made the mistake in the previous. Mat Karma Parama. Ishvara has Prakriti under his control, and that Prakriti, which is my nature, is not created by me. It is all Ishvara. The creation and the creator being non-separate, Ishvara in the form of Prakriti does everything. Ishvara as the sun shines. Ishvara as the earth bears life. And so too, Ishvara as the senses, body, mind, etc. does various actions. I perform no action. I repeat this Mad Karma Parama again. One who appreciates this is also Mad Karma Parama. Ishvara has Prakriti under his control, and that Prakriti, which is my nature, is not created by me. It is all Ishvara. The creation and the creator being non-separate, Ishvara in the form of Prakriti does everything. Ishvara as the sun shines, Ishvara as the earth bears life, and so too Ishvara as the senses, body, mind, etc. does various actions. I perform no action. All this requires conformity to dharma rather than to raga dvesha. I repeat, all this requires conformity to dharma rather than to raga dvesha. Raga dvesha are rooted in the ahankara, whereas dharma is rooted in Ishvara. Therefore, when you act according to dharma and in contradiction to your raga dvesha, you are suppressing your ego and uniting yourself to Ishvara. This is the worship which we call Karma Yoga. I repeat, very important paragraph, please pay attention. All this requires conformity to dharma rather than to raga dvesha. Raga dvesha are rooted in the ahankara, whereas dharma is rooted in Ishvara. Therefore, when you act according to dharma and in contradiction to your raga dvesha, you are suppressing your ego and uniting yourself to Ishvara. This is the worship which we call Karma Yoga. Though your own likes and dislikes, which are purely centered on yourself, are initially suppressed, in time they are sublimated. Once you have a value for dharma, the raga dveshas get naturally relegated to the background. Then it is not suppression, but success in the form of maturity and elevation of the person. It is suppression only if there is no understanding of dharma and no possibility of expressing raga and dvesha. Suppose a child has a lot of anger, and yet the rules in the home prohibit the expression of anger or crying or saying certain things. That child is going to be suppressed. Anger is the product of pain, and pain is due to non-fulfillment of raga dvesha. That is why when you express your anger, there is an aftermath of sadness, the base for the anger. When you obey rules that you do not understand, it amounts to suppression. This is why it is so important to understand the value of values. It amounts to simple maturity.
Please
I
read
think
this paragraph again.
Yeah, I'm reading again. All this requires conformity to dharma rather than to raga dvesha. Raga dvesha are rooted in the ahankara, whereas dharma is rooted in Ishvara. Therefore, when you act according to dharma and in contradiction to your raga dvesha, you are suppressing your ego and uniting yourself to Ishvara. This is the worship which we call karma yoga. Though your own likes and dislikes, which are purely centered on yourself, are initially suppressed, in time they are sublimated. I repeat, this is the worship which we call karma yoga. Though your own likes and dislikes, which are purely centered on yourself, are initially suppressed, in time they are sublimated. Once you have a value for dharma, the raga dveshas get naturally relegated to the background. Then it is not suppression, but success in the form of maturity and elevation of the person. It is suppression only if there is no understanding of dharma and no possibility of expressing raga and dvesha. Suppose a child has a lot of anger, and yet the rules in the home prohibit the expression of anger or crying or saying certain things. That child is going to be suppressed. Anger is the product of pain, and pain is due to non-fulfillment of raga dvesha. That is why when you express your anger, there is an aftermath of sadness, the basis for the anger. When you obey rules that you do not understand, it amounts to suppression. This is why it is so important to understand the value of values. It amounts to simple maturity. I think as we read further, it is very well explained by Swamiji. We will understand. Growing up implies appreciation of dharma. Every day we have to make choices and we are confused about what is right and wrong. It is better to be an animal. I repeat, growing up implies appreciation of dharma. Every day we have to make choices. And if we are confused about what is right and wrong, it is better to be an animal. An animal is not confused, nor does it have any conflict. Maturity in a human being implies the appreciation of dharma. Then there is no suppression because dharma is rooted in Ishvara. Love for dharma becomes love for Ishvara. That is bhakti. When the action you do is for the sake of Ishvara, who is dharma, not for fulfillment of raga dvesha, you are a mat karma parama. So beautiful. To live a life of Karma Yoga, you must have an awareness of Ishvara being in the form of Dharma. It is a very alert life. Karma Yoga is not doing a lot of things. Though a Karma Yogi may be very active, that is not what makes him a Karma Yogi. If you go to Wall Street in New York, you will see frantic activity. A broker may be handling 8 phone calls at a time. It is not the amount of activity, but the attitude that makes a person a Karma Yogi. Though he may be very busy, a Karma Yogi has no anxiety about what he is doing. He has no fear or conflict and goes about doing what is to be done with an inner relaxation. All that he does is for Ishvara. That is Karma Yoga. The ahankara gets deflated and raga dveshas get neutralized. I read once again the paragraph, very important for Antakarana Shuddhi. Karma Yoga is not doing a lot of things. Though a Karma Yogi may be very active, that is not what makes him a Karma Yogi. If you go to Wall Street in New York, you will see frantic activity. A broker may be handling 8 phone calls at a time. It is not the amount of activity, but the attitude that makes a person a Karma Yogi. Though he may be very busy, a Karma Yogi has no anxiety about what he is doing. He has no fear or conflict and goes about doing what is to be done with an inner relaxation. All that he does is for Ishvara. That is Karma Yoga. The ahankara gets deflated and raga dveshas get neutralized. So very beautiful, without fear, doing the things with complete inner relaxation. If Dharma, if you want me to repeat any paragraph or if you wish to contribute, kindly unmute and share. If Dharma is protected, it protects you. Rakshitah Dharma Rakshati Tvam. How does Dharma protect you? Rakshati means it protects not your life, but your sukha, your peace of mind. Protecting merely your longevity is meaningless. What is the point of living 10 more years in distress and causing another 10 years of distress to others as well? With a restless mind, you are not going to radiate Shanti. Even someone who has a degree of Shanti will lose it in the presence of a disturbed person. When Dharma is not protected, the ahankara inflates and the raga dveshas become destructive. Because you cannot have your way all the time, you are going to be angry, frustrated, depressed, etc. That ahankara will increase and clash with the surroundings. But if dharma is followed, there is harmony. Whether you are able to conform to dharma or not, the attempt to do so is enough. If the people around you are educated enough to also attempt to conform to dharma with some awareness of what they are doing, you will find there is an atmosphere conducive to everybody's growth. But if everyone's attention is focused on me and mine, growth will be stifled. Individuality has its beauty, but it also creates strong personal raga dveshas, which become so important that we cannot really accommodate anything else.
Could you please read this again? There was some
Yeah, there
disturbance.
is, I think, too much breaking of voice.
When
Is it my voice is breaking too much? Then kindly take over, Sumati.
okay, I'll take over then.
Yeah, my voice is breaking, right? Because I
Yeah,
continuous notification. Yeah, धन्यवाद, Sumati.
yeah. If dharma is protected, it protects you. Rakshita dharma rakshati tvam. How does dharma protect you? Rakshati means it protects not your life, but your sukha, your peace of mind. Protecting merely your longevity is meaningless. What is the point of living 10 more years in distress and causing another 10 years of distress to others as well? With a restless mind, you are not going to radiate Shanti. Even someone who has a degree of Shanti will lose it in the presence of a disturbed person. When Dharma is not protected, the ahankara inflates and the ragadveshas become destructive. This is very important. When Dharma is not protected, so each individual must protect this Dharma in his conduct, in his attitude. So when Dharma is not protected, the ahankara inflates and the ragadveshas become destructive. Because you cannot have your way all the time, you are going to be angry, frustrated, depressed, etc. Because you cannot have your way all the time, you are going to be angry, frustrated, depressed, etc. The ahankara will increase and clash with the surroundings. But if dharma is followed, there is harmony. So powerful and so beautiful this is. If dharma is followed, there is harmony. Whether you are able to conform to dharma or not, the attempt to do so is enough. Wow, so compassionate. Whether you are able to conform to dharma or not, the attempt to do so is enough. If the people around you are educated enough to also attempt to conform to dharma with some awareness of what they are doing, you will find there is an atmosphere conducive to everybody's growth. But if everyone's attention is focused on me and mine, growth will be stifled. Individuality has its beauty, but it also creates strong personal ragadveshas, which become so important that we cannot really accommodate anything else. When they are so highly pronounced, they demand to be fulfilled. Yet, you cannot have your way all the time. So, there are bound to be conflicts. In a world of individuals, each one wants to have his own way. Unfortunately, what the other person wants is often exactly the opposite of what you want. In this, can you raise the page? Yeah, thank you. In this situation, how are you going to fulfill your ragadveshas? It is impossible. If the ego demands it, what kind of shanti are you going to have? And without shanti, where is happiness? Asan, asan, tasya,
Ashantasya kutah sukham.
asantasya kutaha sukham. So where is happiness when there is no peace? Therefore, protecting dharma will protect your sukha, and thereby your Purushartha, what you want to accomplish. With the protection of Dharma, your jnana is also protected. Otherwise, you will be fanning ragadveshas, which can never be satisfied. Like fire, they are called anala because they never say enough. The more you feed them, the more they want. If you cannot meditate, Krishna tells Arjuna, be a karma yogi, performing all actions for the sake of me. Madartham karmani kurvan. You will gain
Kurvan.
success. Kurvan. Madartham karmani kurvan. You will gain success. Siddhim avapsyasi.
Avapsyasi.
Siddhim
Avapsyasi.
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 Avapsyasi. So if you cannot meditate, Krishna tells Arjuna, be a karma yogi, performing all actions for the sake of me. Madartham karmani kurvan. You will gain success. Siddhim avapsyasi. What can be the success for a karma yogi? Siddhi means moksha. Here, Shankara says, it is through the gain of knowledge. This is the important statement. Here, Shankara says, it is through the gain of knowledge. So when you do everything, performing all actions for the sake of Bhagavan, do it through this lens of jnana. So that is where you will gain knowledge. So this is what yesterday we read, no? Bhagavan gives you opportunities to gain knowledge. And that will lead you to uncover the freedom within you. Very beautiful. Merely performing actions for Ishvara's sake does not ensure siddhi, success. But in performing all action for Ishvara, your antakarna will be, your ahankara will be deflated. I'll read again. Sorry. What happened?
Yeah, sorry, extremely sorry. Can you see now the screen?
Yeah. Merely performing actions for Ishvara's sake does not ensure siddhi, success. But in performing all actions for Ishvara, your ahankara will be deflated and ragadvesha neutralized. That will bring increased composure and enable you to meditate to gain jnana. Oh, wow. Such a connection, no? So everything is so connected.
Yeah, very beautiful. Yes.
So merely performing actions for Ishvara's sake does not ensure success. But in performing all actions for Ishvara, your ahankara, your ego will be deflated and your likes and dislikes, raga dveshas will be neutralized. That will bring increased composure and enable you to meditate to gain jnana. So with that jnana, you perform all your actions for Ishvara. Wow. Even so, that is why devotional service is the basis for us. So that's when our antakarna shuddhi gets cleared, our ego gets deflated, our likes and dislikes get neutralized. So again, it goes back to those 5 knowledge points of our course. Living those 5 knowledge points. Even by doing karma for my sake, you will reach me. If you meditate on Akshara Brahma, you will reach me. If you meditate on me and do karma yoga, you will reach me. If that is not possible, do karma yoga and then also you will reach me. It may seem from this that there are alternate paths for moksha. To dismiss that notion, Shankara uses the word yoga jnana prapti dvarena avapsyasi.
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 Yoga Gnana Prapti Dvarena Avapsyasi.
So gaining maturity by karma yoga, through knowledge, you will gain moksha. We must be very clear. There cannot be any accommodation in this. Where did it? The practice of Ashtanga yoga is to develop enough composure and concentration to hold an object in one's mind for a length of time. This dharana shakti is the aim of abhyasa. Thereby, one can meditate upon the Vishwarupa. So, abhyasa is part of Vishwarupa Dhyana, meditation upon the Lord as Saguna Brahma. If even that is not possible, do your action for the sake of Ishvara and you will gain success. Siddhi. Siddhi here is the first antakarna shuddhi, purification of the mind. What is freedom from the hold of raga dveshas? What is freedom from the hold of
which is freedom?
okay. Yeah. Sorry. I'll read this again. So even if this is not possible, do your action for the sake of Ishvara, you will gain success, Siddhi. Siddhi here is the first antakarna shuddhi, purification of the mind, which is freedom from the hold of raga dvesha. Oh, very nice. So instead of doing things according to your likes and dislikes, do it for the sake of Ishvara. Then this hold of raga dvesha will reduce. You will get freedom from that grip. When they are no longer an obstruction for you, you have antakarna shuddhi. Otherwise, you are still in bondage. Since you have no pratibandha, pratibandha. Since you have no pratibandha, you gain knowledge. Wow. Here, Shankara points out the dependence of knowledge and meditation upon mental preparedness. So this is where this word sacrifice comes. Now I used to wonder when in Gurudev says sacrifice, that will bring you joy and all that. I used to wonder sacrifice what? So sacrifice your raga dveshas. So that is what will bring you mental preparedness, antakarna shuddhi. So sacrifice your likes and dislikes for the sake of dharma, for the sake of Ishvara. Anyone wants to add anything? This is what I gained from this paragraph. When you're prepared, you have the capacity for dhyana and jnana, and therefore you will gain siddhi, success, which here means moksha. Being a mat karma parama, the one for whom Ishvara
Ishwararpita karma.
For one whom Ishwararpita karma is most important. It is, being a mat karma parama, the one for whom Ishwararpita karma is most important. is not easy either. For that, you must have an awareness of Ishvara. When you perform actions, this is very important. So you must have an awareness of Ishvara when you perform actions and a capacity to make your own personal likes and dislikes subserve dharma and adharma. Even though you may be able to follow dharma and adharma, you cannot dedicate all karmas to Ishvara when you have personal interests. If you need to fulfill various likes and dislikes for your own security and pleasures, and yet you want moksha also, that means preparedness, which is maturity, or vairagya is lacking. When vairagya is inadequate, it is very difficult to dedicate all karma to Ishvara because of self-interest. What shall we do about that? If you find that it is not possible that the raga dveshas themselves control you, don't worry. Bhagavan offers an alternative in the next verse. So sweet.
Yeah, Lord is so compassionate. At every step, He is suggesting the easier alternatives.
Yeah.
It's
That is
like,
why he is all knowing. He knows all types of minds.
correct. Should we
It's so
stop here,
nice.
or we can go ahead with the new verse? Brahmaraji, kindly let us know. We should go ahead with the new verse, or we can stop here for Manana.
Maybe you just read the next verse so that there's a continuity, and then we go back to Manana.
Okay. अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मध्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्. अथ, then, madhyogam ashritah, being one whose practice, commitment is dedicating all actions to me. Etat api, even this, kartum, to do, ashaktah asi chet, if you are not able, tatah, then, yatatmavan, being one whose mind is disciplined, sarva karma phala tyagam kuru, give up the results of all actions to me. Atha, madhyogamashritah, etat api kartum ashaktah asi chet, tatah yatatmavan sarva karma phala tyagam kuru.
And even if you are not able to do this, being one whose practice, commitment is dedicating all actions to me, then being one whose mind is disciplined, give up the results of all actions to me. This also will become difficult, no? Because if we are doing actions for our raga dveshas, then we want the results also. But Bhagavan says, if you can't do things, actions by giving up raga dvesha, then do your actions, but give up the results of your actions. Very interesting. Yeah, we can go back to Manana.
Okay, I'll just read the two verses. Abhyasepya samarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madarthamapi karmani kurvan siddhimapsyasi. Even if you do not have the capacity for the practice of this yoga, may you become one for whom action dedicated to me is paramount. Even doing actions for my sake, you will gain success. Yeah, I think we can, this verse, we will do it tomorrow, right? Once again. So with that, we will close our eyes and we will share our takeaways. Hari Om. So today, as we have been seeing for the past this week, that how important it is to have Antakarana Shuddhi, where we are doing actions without any raga and dvesha. So my major takeaway is you continue your action without having any raga dvesha for a particular situation or a person or a place. Yeah, everyone can share, please. This is very profound and I request everyone to share, please.
Jai Gurudev, the three major things I got from today is that how to meditate on Saguna Brahma. If that is difficult, then give up your actions by giving up your likes and dislikes. Do your actions for the sake of Bhagavan. And even if that is difficult, then do your actions with whatever mindset you have, with your likes and dislikes, but give up the results of your actions. So all these things is for your mental maturity. And only in a matured mind where your ego is deflated and your likes and dislikes are neutralized. Only in such a mature mind can wisdom blossom. And Bhagwan gives you those opportunities. So through all your actions as a devotional service to the Lord, you can gain Antakarna Shuddhi. So first is your mental maturity, for which all actions with devotion to God and with Dharma as the deciding factor, not your likes and dislikes, but the Dharma. So that Dharma will be protected. So first of all, we have to go back to our values, Sanatana values, Sanatana Dharma values. We have to go back to that and do our actions based on those values. So that's my takeaway. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Renu has written, dedicate your karmas to Ishvara. If you cannot do that, dedicate the results of your karmas to Ishvara. Yeah, so beautiful. And as ensured by Swamiji, in the initial stage, you may not get Siddhi success, but at least when you are performing all actions for Ishvara, your ahankara will be deflated and raga dveshas neutralized. And the example of child when he is getting angry, as in the, I think in the Atma Samyam Yoga, Swamiji had said that all our raga dveshas, they have deep roots in our childhood. So here I could connect it like when as a child, if you are angry and if you are not given the place to express your anger, and if your anger is suppressed, although in the beginning it may look challenging, but as a abhyas or as a practice, you understand, you become mature as you grow. That anger is not good, neither for the self nor for the surrounding.
And that will be still there. So that is why you need to do Antakarna Shuddhi, because that anger, if it is not expressed, it is going deep into your subconscious, and that becomes your vibrations, no, from which you do anything. So you need to do cleansing of that negative experiences or negative, because he says no, that when you don't get your raga dveshas and it is suppressed, there is sadness. So these are all impurities in your consciousness. Anger and sadness, these are impurities in your consciousness. So you need to do devotional service based on the Sanatana Dharma values, so that your Antakarna, your inner faculties, are cleansed. And that is where I like, for me, I got this freedom from my, or at least knowledge that I need to clean my inner faculties when I did the basic course and advanced course. When you do Disha Pranam, no, that is when I learned how to do Antakarna Shuddhi, because that helped me a lot. Disha Pranam, that process. Jai Gurudev.
May I request everyone to share, please? because everybody's understanding is so beautiful and different. So maybe we get a new angle to understand. If nobody has to share, then Brahmaraji, can we sum up? I
It
also
says I
like
am the host. I think Brahmaraji is not there.
Yeah, I just wanted to say here Swamiji's statement, Siddhi means moksha. We normally say, believe that Siddhi means the success or whatever we say in the material world. But actual Siddhi means moksha. That is the freedom from, I believe that from our raga dvesha, freedom from ahankara. Sumaji, should we close or as everyone, because if there is,
Yeah, I think we can close.
yeah, could you
You can,
please
yeah.
say the Shanti mantra and we can close?
So
Or if
let's
you want
close
to
that.
say, explain further, kindly explain, because it's very profound today's, I mean, each shloka is
Yeah.
pregnant with such a deep meaning.
Yeah, for me, what came out today is how compassionate our Dharma is, our Ishvara is, and how lucky we are to get this opportunity to learn this, even though it is a mental exercise initially. But the more you practice it, it becomes your very nature. Doesn't initially I was in a hurry, but now I'm not. I know it's going to take a long time, so I'm okay with that. That since anyway it is not in my hands, there's nothing I can do about it. But definitely I'm grateful for the opportunities I have to know about my own limitations and how to clean them, and this thing about that I am Atma, all this as a knowledge, as a concept, when you read, you get. but as an existential experience that is very, very profound wisdom I find only in this Sanatana Dharma. I'm so grateful for on this path. That's all from me.
And also this word Matkarma Parama, it is so beautiful. You are not suppressing your raga dvesha, or you are not doing actions by suppressing them, but as a mature person, and then it becomes like a bhakti. That is such a wonderful way of looking at the things. I mean,
And
so we
also
all
this
have to
concept
become
of
Matkarma.
courage. Well, for me, that is also another learning I've got in the last, especially in the last 2 years, the inner courage, which I didn't associate with Ishvara or Dharma, all that. But after going through Bhagavad Gita, I realized when Krishna tells Arjuna that don't be a coward, that also hit me very nicely 2 years ago when we first started this. Because most often, because of fear, I would not do what is required as a dharma values. I would say, okay, let's give it up. But the more you practice even courage, you become very shanta. You're quite composed inside. Otherwise, there is a lot of anxiety. If you want to follow certain dharma and you're not following it, there is a fear. So then that is where I liked what Bhagavan tells Arjuna, because of your cowardice, that you don't want to fight, but give up that coward attitude, because that is not a quality of God, of the Bhagavan inside you, the Atma inside you. So I don't know why I'm saying it, but it just came out now.
Yeah, very beautiful.
Because even I understood siddhis as something I gain, that I say it and it happens. So I used to think that is siddhi. But today I realize that siddhi is moksha.
This courage thing, Sumaji, implies to all of us actually, if we look deeper into it. So many kinds of constraints and some strands of fears were there, which Gita is really beautifully removing. Even I also had so many kinds of insecurities, so many things which last 1.5 to 2 years. So many things have opened
This
up.
last 2 years, really, I'm very grateful actually to all of you, all of us, for our commitment to stay on this knowledge. And it is really helping me. I'm sure it is helping all of us.
Especially this fear thing, we really need to look from all sides actually. Still we have within our subtler levels, there are so many uncomfortable insecurities are there, and we tend to avoid it. We don't want to face it. Jane do na, let it. Yeah.
I used to run away from it, thinking that was the best way. But then Krishna said, no growth will happen.
Correct.
And you will have only regrets. And I realized that's how I have been living my life. And when he said, when Bhagavan's attitude, those 6 qualities of God, courage is a part of it. And if we are part of that Atma, that courage is there in us as well. It's just that we don't want to use it because of these insecurities.
Perfectly mentioned, and we need to underline and ponder over this. And all kinds of insecurities, if we can really surrender to the feet of the Lord, then only we will become free. It's very important point actually. Why we hold on to so many small things? See how the small baby is so fearless, and the baby is so comfortable that everything is taken care by my mother. That feeling should dawn. Then all so many things we do out of that insecurities, and very faint strands of fear are there. This is wonderful knowledge. Thank you so much.
Okay, so shall we close our eyes? And Belaji, is there anything else you want to add?
No, that was very beautiful what you added. We will just have that feeling of Purnatva, as today mentioned, no? And feeling of abundance. We already have everything, whatever is required in our life. And that with that abundance feeling, kindly, we will have that Shanti mantra, please. Dhanyavad.
So thank you. So let's close our eyes. And I guess we need to go back to this 6 qualities of Bhagavan is inside us. So the more we bring that to the surface, to our awareness level, I'm sure it'll seep in. So with that, let's close our eyes. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Gurudev.
Dhanyavad sarvebhya. Jai Gurudev.
Dhanyavad. Jai Gurudev.
Thank you, Jai Gurudev.